600 weight. That's how much the rocket trolley weighed. The one that was supposed to stop gently using hydraulic buffers. The one that instead smashed straight through those buffers, obliterated a reinforced concrete blast wall, and flew off a cliff edge at 200 miles per hour with all 12 rockets still belching flames. 0 enemies killed. 1 cliff violated. Welcome to the bunker. I'm Professor Von Blunder, and today we're examining one of Britain's finest contributions to military engineering, the rocket-propelled catapult trolley that nobody asked for and everybody should have seen coming. During World War II, British engineers had a problem. They needed to test a secret missile, and like all great military minds, they decided the solution was obvious. Build a rocket sled, strap 12 rockets to it, fire it down a track at 200 miles per hour, and stop it with hydraulic buffers. What could possibly go wrong? Spoiler alert, literally everything. The plan started innocently enough. Well, as innocently as any plan involving rockets and projectiles can start. They laid a catapult track on the northern wing of a pier. Down this track, they would fire a rocket-propelled trolley with the secret weapon mounted on top. Simple, elegant, definitely not insane. But here's where the genius really kicks in. Protruding from the front of the trolley were 2 tapered steel rams. These rams were designed to enter hydraulic cylinders at the end of the runway. The idea, the trolley would come to a dead stop while the missile kept going. Think of it like a shopping trolley, except it weighs as much as a grand piano, is propelled by 12 screaming rockets, and is supposed to stop instantly at 200 miles per hour. In engineering terms, that means they designed a multi-ton battering ram and then politely asked some hydraulic fluid to catch it. Naturally, one of the engineers, Dick Crow, had what the military calls serious misgivings. That's British for, "This is absolutely going to explode." Dick pointed out that the trolley weighed 600 weight. That's over 600 pounds. And it was going to hit 200 miles per hour in the short length of the track. He feared the shock of stopping it would carry the entire pier forward into the sea. Other engineers worried the hydraulic buffers would simply burst apart like a water balloon filled with regret. So they anchored the track back to the rocky island below with 6 huge hawsers. Because if your plan requires maritime-grade steel cables to prevent your entire launch facility from achieving unplanned flight, you're definitely on the right track. But then higher authority stepped in. Too much could be seen by onlookers from the shore. Security risk, so they packed up the whole operation and moved to Brain Down, a windswept headland high above the sea. Problem solved. Brain Down was not an ideal site. It was high above the sea, exposed, freezing, drenched by clouds of icy spray. Not great for testing, even worse for recovering anything. But at least it was private. So the team set to work on the exposed headland, laboriously leveling a stretch of rock-strewn ground, hour after hour, in the freezing cold, building a runway for a rocket trolley that everyone secretly knew was going to end badly. When the runway was finally ready, they turned their attention to the stopping mechanism. Remember, this is the bit Dick Crow was worried about. The hydraulic buffers that were supposed to catch a 600-pound trolley moving at 200 miles per hour. Now, if you had serious concerns about a multi-ton rocket sled destroying your equipment, what would you do? Redesign it? Add more buffers? Maybe rethink the whole concept? No. These were British engineers. So they built a blast wall out of sandbags, filled with cement. They built this wall around the back of the hydraulic buffers to reinforce the stopping gear. In military terms, that means they looked at the thing that was definitely going to explode and then built a small fort behind it to catch the debris. It's like putting a trampoline behind a brick wall and expecting it to help. The runway was ready. The blast wall was up. 12 2-inch rockets were mounted on the trolley. The stage was set. All they needed now was someone brave, loyal, and foolish enough to stand nearby and monitor the test. Enter Private Timmy. The small party gathered on the ridge behind the trolley, 12 rockets gleaming in the cold light. Everyone waited tensely. No one quite knew what to expect. That's a lie. Everyone knew exactly what to expect. They were just hoping they were wrong. Private Timmy had been assigned to monitor buffer integrity. That meant he was standing near the hydraulic cylinders and the blast wall. Close enough to observe, close enough to regret every decision that led him to this moment. Willie, the man with the firing key, gave the signal. He pressed the button. The trolley erupted. Enveloped in flame, it hurtled down the track like a meteor. Like a screaming, fire-breathing, completely uncontrollable meteor. It hit 200 miles per hour in seconds. The steel rams slammed into the hydraulic buffers. And this is the moment where the laws of physics looked at the British plan and started laughing. The trolley drove straight through the buffers, obliterated them, didn't even slow down. Then it hit the blast wall, that lovely reinforced sandbag and cement fortress that was supposed to stop the unstoppable. The wall just disintegrated. In tactical terms, that means it turned into a high-velocity cloud of cement, sandbags, and broken dreams. The air filled with whirling debris, sandbags, wire hawsers, pieces of sheet steel. Private Timmy and the trolley, its 12 rockets still belching bright yellow flames, vanished over the cliff edge and into history. Step 1. Buffers obliterated. Step 2. Blast wall disintegrated. Step 3. Trolley achieved flight. Step 4. Timmy achieved trauma. When the smoke cleared, there was no trolley, no blast wall, no buffers, just a cliff edge, a lot of very quiet engineers, and the distant sound of something exploding at the bottom of the sea. Timmy was later found covered in cement dust, clutching a sandbag and reconsidering his career choices. Time for the stupidity meter. Let's rate this beautiful disaster out of 10. Money wasted? Spectacular. An entire pier facility abandoned. A second facility built on a freezing headland, all equipment destroyed in approximately 4 seconds. That's efficiency. Enemies killed? 0. The only casualties were the buffers, the blast wall, and Timmy's dignity. Collateral damage to Timmy? Severe. Buried in sandbags, covered in cement, traumatized by rocketry. Overall stupidity score, 9 out of 10 flaming trolleys. The only reason it's not a 10 is because the trolley technically worked. It achieved 200 miles per hour. It launched successfully. It just refused to stop, ever. Here's my question for you. If you had 12 rockets, a trolley, and a cliff in 1940s Britain, what would you launch into the sea? A piano? A tank? Your commanding officer? Let me know in the comments. Be creative. Be ambitious. And if anyone sees Timmy, tell him the trolley finally stopped, sometime last week, at the bottom of the Atlantic, still on fire.